help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or liberals, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, if freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, can say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags. America.
Good evening, America! How y'all doing, baby? This is a corner of church and state, right where you belong, right where you need to be. It is not a mistake, and it is also September 12th. How y'all doing? I'm your friendly neighborhood bearded weirdo coming at you loud and proud as I always do, and with this magnificence upon my face. And to my left over here, he's my brother, my compadre. He is also my pastor, but he is also the one, the only, the Pastor Gary Podosek. And then behind the iron curtain, controlling all the technology, pushing all our buttons, whether we like it or not, we have our brother in arms, as well as a very, very good friend. He is Steve Cattell. How y'all doing, brothers?
I'm doing good. I can't speak for him.
I'm good. Why would I not be good? I might be deaf in one side, but I'm okay. Might be okay, you know.
Well, I gotta wake everybody up. It's Tuesday.
Does this podcast have benefits like hearing insurance?
No, not at all.
It needs to.
We don't have insurance. In fact, we're paying them to let us do this. Oh man, it is Tuesday, September 12th. First of all, let me come out and say again a big, huge thank you to all those who gave their lives, who lost their lives, and who continued to fight even afterwards to try to save others and to protect this country. Thank you, and we will never forget what you have done.
Yep. Never forget.
22 years.
Yeah.
And what's sad is they don't even teach it in school anymore.
No, they do. They still teach
Barely.
it. No, they do. They still teach it. But what's amazing is that it's 22 years ago since the incident, but like it's almost shockingly absurd that 22 years ago it happened, but it took like another was Obama's second term
to get
actually put like the final completion
to put Obama down or
Osama.
Bin Laden,
Yeah.
Osama Bin Laden down.
Yeah, Obama took out Osama. I know it's easy to mix up the names.
Obama took out Obama Bin Laden. What?
Obama.
Obama.
Yeah. But no, like
I was thinking, Black Betty.
But like, but like seriously, like it was really amazing because I remember.
You were at a Phillies game, weren't you? You were at the game.
I was at a nationally televised ESPN televised Phillies game when it happened. It was so amazing because like the stadium broke out into a USA chant, and the announcers on the game didn't know why they were chanting USA because they didn't get the news because everybody got it on their phones before everybody else. So it was all passed around through all the posts and all the online stuff, and everybody knew about it. But the two guys who were reporting were like, "Oh, the crowd they're chanting USA for some reason, and we're not really sure what's going on, but it's actually so loud that the game is actually stopped. The pitcher stepped off the mound. They're looking around. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Yep. They don't know we're getting a report. Oh, apparently that's what they all aware in the stadium, apparently, that Osama bin Laden has been caught and killed.
Oh, he wasn't caught. He was shot.
Still, long story short, it was just something like it took that long though. Like you're talking about like all that time had passed from when the towers collapsed to now the vindication basically of
and then we continued to fight in that area
close that chapter
until Biden decided to leave all those weapons.
Well, again, then there's
billions of dollars,
and there's a lot of things we could talk about that problem.
But that's not the topic for today.
Yeah,
no,
there's a lot of issues that went on there.
Now I know for some of y'all, in other parts of America, we're like a month late here on this episode, but we live in Jersey, and my kids just went back to school last week.
Yeah, some of y'all get
okay.
kids in June.
A lot of y'all, your kids go back to school in August, and then they're out in May, and you actually get the good parts of the summer
versus the obnoxious parts.
Yeah, in other words, your kids are back to school during the heat waves of August.
Well, I mean, not that the heat waves of August are bad. It's just certain places.
That's
it's
the dog days of summer, baby.
It's raining and hot. It's also miserable. It's not just hot. It's miserable and hot.
But anyway, so that's what this episode is about. And the reason why we're doing this episode is, and it's calling it Back to School, Back to War. It's because I don't know if you noticed, I'm assuming if you watch us, listening to us, that you know for a fact the battlefield our kids are going into when it comes to public school.
Look, it's called an institution for a reason.
Yep, and not even just public, but also charter schools. You're getting so-called Christian schools or
secondary school.
Like it's a battlefield, not only for our kids, but it's also for us as well, or at least it should be. You should be taking up the banner. You should be fighting for your kids. And
you're right. You're fighting for your kids, but it's more than just fighting for your kids. Like, all right, so real quick, let's just jump into a small subject matter, but I know this is personal, but we're not going to talk about your personal issue. But like, if somebody comes in and just, a teacher assaults your child, all right, that's a big deal, right? I'm getting up and I'm fighting for my kid, right? Fighting for your kid in that regard is really like, that's not even a question. I don't know any parent in the world that would not get outraged.
I don't know. I know some Karens that look at them and be like, well, what did you do?
Well, I mean, you might still be like, you might have asked for it, but you don't have the right to go lay your hands on my child. That's my job. That's not your job. But, Catholic school rulers, whatever. I still don't even think that was allowed.
Number one, Catholic school back in those days, the parents knew about it.
Right.
The parents approved it. And there were standards, okay? I mean, granted, we are talking about the Catholic Church. I'm not going to rib on you too much on this.
It was just a point.
It was not, but it was welcomed. It was approved. That was the way.
And I'm not.
Now it's not approved at all. So that's why parents get. I got ticked.
Anybody would be
because
pissed off.
that's not. I look in the student handbook that says what punishment will get you what thing. Smacking my kid or hitting him is not in there.
And there's a lot of issues with that in itself. But so back to my point, fighting for your kid, that's an obvious. You're gonna go and you're gonna make heads.
In this aspect of fighting for your kids, it's a little bit like
this is my point.
You got to weave through the darkness. You got to weave.
But it's not. You're not really fighting for your kid. You are, but you aren't.
You're fighting for all kids.
It's a different fight, right? You're fighting for a system of values. You're fighting for a belief system. You're fighting for you're really fighting against lies. And this is really
you're fighting a false religion, in my opinion.
Well, that too, but the biggest part of this is you're fighting against lies, right? Mm-hmm. Because the education system is supposed to teach. And there's got to be a foundational point, right? So if we say, all right, I'm going to send you to school, Bobby, and Bobby, they're going to teach you your alphabet. And then you get Bobby back from school and he goes, did you learn your ABCs? And he goes, yeah, I learned my ABCs. And he says the fifth letter of the alphabet is Q. You have a problem. And it's not because, and by the way, if you caught that, LGBTQ.
I caught it.
But my point is that if you're being taught that and that's your alphabet and he gets that, he's not being taught something that he needs to know in order to know how to spell, know what letters are, know what they look like, know how to you're teaching him something that is false for something that is no business being in an education program whatsoever.
Yep.
And that's the problem. So it really has to do more with you're espousing lies. You're not even hiding the fact that you're teaching children a falsehood or a lie, but it's because of an agenda.
Yep.
And honestly, if I was a parent in that particular case, this is where the fight has to go. And there's a lot of ways to fight that. We've talked about that on this show many a times about
voting for your board,
talking about what you can do,
getting
the meetings, discussing these things, making your voices heard. and really standing up for it. And also, yeah, I mean, I know not everybody can afford it, but if you can take your kids out and put them in a private school or homeschool, your chances of that not happening have expedited. You know, you're getting out of that cycle.
They've lessened
a lot more.
However, there are a lot of charter schools which are not public. You know, you got to put them in it, and there are a lot of so-called Christian schools that have been adopting a lot of the same stuff that the
What's the school?
schools.
What's the school where it's like
military academy?
No, it's got another name. I can't remember what the heck it's called. It's
West
like
Point? That's
no,
college.
No, I'm talking about like it's like kids that are bad go to this, and it's like school,
It's
but
something
it's
boot camp.
No, it's got a name. I can't remember what the heck it is, but it's something school, and I can't remember. But yeah, let's send them to that. That'll straighten everybody out because they're not going to put up with that junk.
I don't know. I don't know. The military's putting up with that.
My pronouns are I don't want to hear about your pronouns. Now get down and give me 20. And if you mention and if you say anything about your genitalia, I will punch you in it. And no, mom and dad ain't going to be here to help you, and they already know I'm going to hurt you.
Right? It really is. It's
a boarding school. That's what it is. Boarding school.
No, boarding schools aren't military.
Well, it could be.
No, you live there. That's why it's called a boarding school. Yeah. You live there.
Okay, so live on Army-based school. There you go.
Well, no, they used to call it military academy. We're going to send you to military school.
Like
all the old shows and old movies just called it military school.
Send them to that.
I mean, we'll send Major Payne your way to that military school. Let me see your finger.
Boarding schools for troubled teens and
troubles. Yeah, whatever. Perfect. It works for me.
Whatever. Yeah,
that's it. That's what I was looking for.
But the thing is,
I think it's what it was called anyway.
And this is the big thing is that a lot of people are, we're stuck in a bind. Like I know financially I can't. Me and my ex, we also don't agree on this. I would love if we agreed on it and worked on it together and put our kids in homeschooling. There's a fantastic homeschooling curriculums that don't even necessarily have to be Christian based, but are they are patriotic and constitutional and truth based. That you can put your kids in. Ones that have been doing homeschooling with computers for years, long before the schools tried to force it with COVID on your kids, where they screwed it all up to begin with. And I'd love to be able to do that. Would love to be able to do that. But me and my ex, butt heads and
but I mean, I remember back in like our time where public school wasn't the best thing in the world, but like you kind of it wasn't bad, and not only that, but we kind of wanted our kids to go to public school too, because it puts a little toughness on your skin. You got to deal with a bully. You know what I mean? You get and bullies. I'm not advocating bullying, but I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but there's always a kid who's going to give you a hard time or tease you or whatever, but that tough skin helps you deal with life. Like, not everybody in the world is nice to you, and everybody's not going to be pleasant to you. You're going to have to deal with it.
Now in schools, though, they want to coddle you and tell you that.
No, I don't even do that.
Timmy, Timmy, you're no longer Timmy. You're Tanya, and you can go into the transformation closet and put on whatever clothes you want.
That's a problem. Yes,
and now they want to coddle these kids.
But I'm looking
if you disagree with somebody's pronouns, now you're the bully.
Well, but the bullies aren't like aren't even bullies anymore.
They want to put you in such a bubble and give you whatever you want that you're never prepared. Look,
it's actually kind of interesting now because the bullies aren't the kids; the bullies are the teachers.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because that dynamic has kind of created something. Like, I've seen some videos of like teachers yelling at a student, and every single student in that classroom like all gang up and like go, "That's not right. You can't do that. I can do whatever I want." "No, that's wrong. You can't do that. He has his right. He can say that. That's his freedom. He's allowed to do that." And it's like, why are the kids the ones smarter than the adult in the room?
Some cases, yeah.
It's amazing to me.
That's like last year.
Curriculum, though, doesn't it?
It comes down to the teachers and the fact that they are supported by a governmental union that will not, and I am staunchly on this point, will not fix the problem.
Well, because they want the problem.
They
want the problem because it's part of a democratic agenda to get people to sit down.
But what do you say about red states? There's problems in those too.
The union is still blue.
No, the union
Yes,
but if the
unions
teachers, the teachers,
all teachers unions are part of the NEA, which is the National Education Association union. They're all part of it. Every individual state and county or whatever.
The NJEA, I understand
They're all part of that. Everything that they do comes from the NEA, which is tied to the federal, Secretary of Education or whatever. It's all tied to
that's where all the funding comes from.
Because the union is all blue, they want everybody that's part of the union to vote blue. Everything that they want to do that has to do with CRT, the alphabet mafia crap, and all the stuff that is absolutely evil, in my opinion, that they shouldn't be teaching kids in school because that has nothing to do with education. Yep. All that's coming down from the NEA. And all the local unions are the one in all the fights, even in red states, they have to fight this crap. They had to fight it in Florida. They made laws. They're like, nope, can't say it, can't do that crap. And they're still trying to, and they're losing back and forth. Other states are starting to do the same laws. Texas is, all these other ones, because they still have to make these laws because those unions, doesn't matter that they're in a red state, are still trying to do it.
Yeah, this is one of those things that I feel like Alex Jones would like jump on, and he would point it out from a different realm though. Like, the point isn't to teach the kids.
No, it's to indoctrinate them.
No, it's not even to do that because the kids aren't buying it, right? Like, think about it this way. It would work if the kids bought it, right? The only percent of the kids who are buying the LGBTQ stuff are like 1% of the population anyway. And not only that,
and the rest of them just think it's the cool thing to do.
Right. It's going to be a try it if you like it type of thing. And then they get out of school and they're like, no, that was stupid. And I like this person because they're cool and they're opposite sex, and I don't really care about all that stuff in high school. Like, it's not really working. You CRT stuff, it's not working. Even the black people in the school programs are like, no. Like, I get it. I get what you're saying.
It's so bad.
And I understand history and all, but no.
Yeah, I mean, we've got entire towns of Muslim communities are now, because before there was the big bad, single white male Christians. They're the big bad ones. You gotta keep them out of the board meetings.
Yeah.
They've had entire board meetings in towns that have large Muslim, large grouping of Muslim people that they're going, no, Quran against that too. Like, no. And they're like, wait a second. The Muslims and the Christians are agreeing on something?
Right. and this is the thing. Like, the kids in the schools are really not really being affected. They are, but they aren't. Like, it is and it isn't affecting them. It's affecting them in a totally separate way, right? It's creating lots of mass depression. It's creating more suicides in children than ever before.
It's putting them in contact with pornography.
It's stigmatizing
at a
them.
age.
Yes, it's creating all these evil things that are put in the way early ages that they shouldn't be experiencing, and that's all bad. That's really the evil side of this whole plan. But here's the Alex Jones statement. I'm not going to do Alex Jones impersonation tonight, or maybe I will. I don't know. But where it really comes in is it's becoming part of the history now.
Yep.
And so what happens is that, okay, they'll take it out, and then they'll take it out, and then they'll take this out, and they'll take that out, and it won't be in the school curriculum anymore. But then the history book will talk about how the bad people took away these awesome things that were in school before that were really helping to teach people about race equality and how each race is equal and that all races are the same and they're not different, and that we shouldn't treat people different based on skin color. But the evil red people took it away because they think that racism is good, when that's not true.
Yep.
But they'll paint it in a lie, but then they're still able to teach it, but from the point of history.
Yep.
And so now it's left to your own discretion to make your own determinations later on in life. Look, all right, let's go with this one, right? They still teach about Hitler in World War II, right?
Yep.
Everybody here agree Hitler's a bad guy? Okay, great. Okay.
Absolutely horrible individual, monster.
But if you are given a textbook that paints all the stuff that Hitler did as though it was a good idea or that he was doing good for the people, and that was the only thing you got, you wouldn't know, because what's history going to show?
Wait a second. They are teaching it.
I know. But the point
all this transgender stuff.
It's
Hitler was doing his
propaganda.
His scientists were doing these types of experiments on kids.
Yeah. And the Jewish kids. And the race equality thing, he made it seem like that races were equal except for.
Yep.
And the only reason why the Jew hate was there was because he painted a picture as though the Jews at that time were spreading disease.
Yep.
And so because they were disease-ridden or plague-ridden, you needed to avoid them, and they could get rid of them, not them personally, but the disease, because they had doctors who were able to fix that problem. But fixing that problem was not curing the Jews. No, it was killing the Jews.
It was torturing them, mutilating them. And they did all this stuff back then. And now they're doing it again here in America. I mean, this whole transgender CRT curriculum crap, well, not the CRT, but mainly the transgender curriculum that they keep trying to teach in schools.
Is, right?
Incorrect. I don't.
CRT
Critical race theory.
Critical race theory. It's basically white man always racist.
Well, let's start with the fact that it doesn't buy into the 1776. Right. Let's start with that. The country's founding.
CRT. CRT says the country was founded in 1619 when the first slaves were brought to America, and they try to say that the first slaves were all black. False.
They weren't.
They were Irish. Okay. There was one black guy that owned black slaves, and you know what's funny? He was black.
But see, this is the point, right? Go back to my Alex Jones theory, right? Well, if they teach it CRT and they get it in history books, then what happens is later when they go back and rewrite this all out, they're going to go, well, what was this CRT thing? And then they're going to have to explain it all over again to another group of generation of people who are going to look at it and go, well, maybe they were right. And maybe it wasn't this, but they don't have the history to back it up anymore because CRT is now the history. Oh, well, how'd that work?
Yeah, no, the only thing is that this country became a country.
You don't have to rewrite history. You just have to rewrite
the minute that the first black slaves, and the whole time they say that America has only ever had black slaves, when the first two slaves on this continent were Irish slaves.
And let's not forget
the Brits, the UK, British were sending Irish children. They weren't even sending Irish adults. They were sending Irish children over to be slaves because it was easier to teach them to be a slave as a child. And the first two slaves that were, African American, the first African American actually wasn't even African American. The first person to have slaves was a French guy who happened to be black. Those of you who don't know Damas, the writer of the Musketeers book and story, he was black. So there are black Frenchmen. Anyway, he was a black Frenchman, came over here and he had paid
tons
for
of black
other
races. There's tons of black people in all countries.
Oh yeah, I know, because the Moors went everywhere. But that's another story.
Stupid sentence you just uttered. I'm sorry.
Well, no, some people just think.
I know that people don't know these things because they don't pay attention.
But anyway, he came over to this country. The way that you could get over here if you didn't have the money to pay to come to this country or to the colonies, I should
work
say.
it off.
You became an indentured servant, and you had to work, and it was set in a contract. You're going to work for me for 7 years to pay off your debt, and after those 7 years, you're free to go. Well, he brought over some people to do that, and they were lazy and weren't working. And so he went to a judge and was like, he's lazy, not working, make him my slave. It was a black guy from France who started this whole thing.
Yeah, but that's not even. But the point is
that made it legal in the states.
And this is where the problem.
At that time, the colonies.
The problem is not. The problem is not that there were or are still slave owners, right? Let's talk about real quick. Slaves still exist in this country, right? Except guess what? They're not based off of skin color. They're really more based off of sex. Right? Because guess what? They're taking children and they're selling them into sex slavery.
Yep.
That is a real thing, and it's in this country. So let's not get into that.
That'll be a topic for next week.
But let's talk about
2 weeks.
Let's talk about the slave problem from back then. And this is still the problem today. It's just blindly look the other way, right? You're not educating children. You're not teaching them the correct things because you're not teaching them the right history. Here's the point. Somebody's selling them, right? So all those African slaves come from Africa, not because some white guy came over there, grabbed a bunch of black people, put them on a boat and said, hey guys, guess what I found? These people will work and do everything we tell them to, and we can beat them if they don't. That's not how it happened.
Nope.
They were sold by their own actual people from Africa who were kings and rulers, sold their own people to other nations for money.
Tribes would capture, when they would fight another tribe, they would then, take the women on and children, and they would make them. They would take them and make them their slaves, and then they sold them to the white man. Why did they sell them to the white man? Why? Because we had some things that they liked, and they liked our guns.
Okay. Point being, you want to stop slavery? Stop the slave selling.
Yep.
That's it. Stop the sellers. You get to the people who are selling the people, guess what? Slavery stops. It's that simple.
I mean, eventually, look, it was a bad time.
Just saying.
Every country in
bad
this
time's
world,
still going on.
every country in this world at one point had a large amount of their populace were slaves.
Look.
White people were slaves. We've been slaves to other countries. Look, it's a history. It's a natural history of what is it bad? Yes. Is it
Try being a Muslim in China.
right? Trying to be a Uyghur. You're in Uyghur
You're a slave.
camps.
Sorry.
You're put in a work camp.
They're slaves.
And essentially slaves.
That's it.
Nowadays we
Not
have
free. So if you're not free,
children are taken from their parents in the States and shipped to other countries. Kids are taken from their parents in other countries and shipped to the States and other countries so that they can be used as sex slavery. It's happening all over the world. Yeah. Slavery has not stopped. It's changed its form because now it's no longer pick my cotton, till my field, clean my house. It's now worse, in my opinion, because of what they're doing to children.
No, not just that, but it's also because of like the different ideas that are behind it. But so take this to education, right? You're now getting indoctrination from the schools on a level that tells every black child in a school that that white kid that's sitting next to them is racist just because he's white.
Yep.
And that person and that other person might look at each other and go, he's my best friend. We've known each other since we were in kindergarten. What are you talking about?
He's automatically racist.
No, you don't understand. Because he's white, he is systemically going to be racist to you. And they'll look over at each other and go, we joke about it all the time. Yeah, his skin's white, mine's black. So what? But he doesn't know what collard greens taste like, and I make fun of him because he doesn't put salt on his food. Does that make me racist? No, it doesn't. Because you're black and you can do that to a white person. But that white guy, that white kid,
can't make jokes.
He can't make a single joke about you being black because that's systemic racism.
Well, they say whites are, and you're born racist. You are inherently racist, and nobody else can be racist. Right. I'm sorry.
And you're teaching a bunch of people in a school that anybody
to Asian people. They are the most. God, Chinese hate Koreans. Koreans hate Japanese. They all hate the Philippines. They're the most racist.
But racism
just
in itself.
Listen to one of my favorite comedians. I can't remember his name right now. He is a Philippine. He makes fun of it all the time, saying, "You want to know racism? Talk to Asian people. They're the worst."
But racism in and of itself, right, is kind
of there it is
kind of stigmatized in the sense of just because of what we're told culturally racism is, right? You're given a picture, right, and you're shown like a bunch of KKK guys,
all
lynching families that are all black, and you're told this is racism, right? Okay, well, everybody will tell you that's horrible and that's evil and it's wicked and it should never happen, all right? And it was wrong. Everybody across the board, any skin color will tell you that's wickedness and evil and wrong, right? But you're not telling the whole picture if you just say, and that's racism. And so when you make a joke about him because of his black skin color, you are as bad as those racist white KKK members. I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
All right,
not even in the same hemisphere.
And just so you know, racism was a made-up word years ago. Okay, because the reality is...
It's not an old word, by the way. Just to put that out there, too.
It's not in your favorite dictionary.
No, it's not.
But to tell the truth, there is no... the skin color isn't what makes a different race. Okay? It's not. We're the human race, and then that's pretty much it.
That's
okay?
One race.
One race. And for those of you who are like, skin color. There's this.
I would say there's got to be something about ethnic.
Nope.
Something or ethnicist.
No, it's not even ethnicity. Here's the thing. I saw this. Somebody put it out on a video, and I did nuclear physics in high school. Nuclear physics.
Where's my bomb?
They do a large. That's not the type of physics that
you suck.
Nuclear physics. They teach
you were bad in class. You didn't take notes.
Nope.
If you went to nuclear physics and you didn't take enough notes to learn how to make a bomb, then you failed.
No, because the biggest thing they talk about in nuclear physics is they talk about radio waves. Yes,
I love it. It's great.
They take radio. They talk about radio waves. They talk about
microwaves.
Radio waves. Shut up.
Do you learn about microwaves? I need to know this.
Can, yes.
Oh, good. Thank God.
They talk about, but they also talk about the light spectrum. They talk about the light spectrum. And here's the thing.
Roy G. Biv.
Will you Actually, no, that not Roy G. Biv, but
That is the light spectrum. Don't lie to me. I learned it.
no, but that's not the part. We shush for a second. I'm gonna backhand you, and when I do, because it's an upside down cross, you're gonna have an upside down cross on the side of your face. It's gonna be a bad look for a pastor.
Keep going so I can pick on you some more.
Anyway,
This bunny trail is going to be fantastic.
No, shut up.
Are we ever going to get to school?
I'm trying.
No, here's the thing.
He's talking about his school.
I am talking
nuclear physics.
when it comes to the skin color. Do you realize that the supposed white skin and then all the way to the darkest of darkest individual is all part of the same color spectrum, the color brown. It's all part of the same spectrum. Whether you're yellow, come out a little bit more orange, like the guy that used to be in the White House, or if you come out white, supposedly white, though Caucasian is not white.
No, it's not.
Or coming out, under the bed dark. And yes, there's a comedian who said that is one of the funniest bits in the world. Under the bed dark. Doesn't matter. It's all part of the same spectrum. All part of the same color spectrum. There is no difference in race.
How about this? You ready for this one? Everybody's skin color is actually just because of the reflection of the light that we are under.
Yep, and
that's why everybody's the same skin color when there's no light. How about that?
Look, I can go on further. You see that? You see this shirt? It's really not white.
But that's really what this is like. And going back, it has nothing to do with your skin color. It really isn't. Everything that people are saying or stigmatizing or picking on has everything to do more with stereotypes or your ethnicity.
I hate to say
or your language or your country of origin. It really doesn't have anything to do with the skin color that you are.
No, right? But it's they've been trying to do this for years, and the biggest thing is. Why do they keep doing it? And it's why they keep teaching it in schools. Because if they can keep us divided, they can control us.
That's correct.
It's a whole nother form of slavery.
But now this makes you wonder, though, going back to the subject at hand, the schools, and why it's important, why it's a battleground, why we are fighting this fight, right? Or every parent should be fighting.
And you should be knowing everything your kid. Have conversations with your kids. Go for it.
Thanks.
Anyway. You should be having conversation every day when your kid comes home from school. What is
talking
being
about
called.
Their homework?
Yep. You should know what's going on. They're not a babysitter. They have a job to do, and you need to be, as the consumer, because you are the consumer, you're paying for it with your taxes. You need to make sure that they're doing it right. And if they're not, you are the boss. Go to the Board of Education meeting and start putting your foot down.
So, but the reason this is a battleground, the reason why it's a really present day war that is being waged against your children and why it's so important to fight the fight is because it's not just it's an indoctrination. It'd be one thing if it was just, they're just indoctrinating the kids. They're teaching them
brainwashing.
Brainwashing. You call it whatever you want. That's happening. It is true. But technically, there's a lot of places where kids get indoctrinated from, right? You put them in front of a TV, they're getting indoctrinated, right? If all of a sudden your favorite, I'm only going to pick on it because I know it's actually good, and that's Bluey. But if your kid's watching Bluey, and then all of a sudden Bluey doesn't have mom and dad, it's mom. Like, excuse me, what? Like, the parents' ears should perk up. Like, Why did Bluey just get two moms all of a sudden? What's going on? Why is my kid about to learn about something that I don't want them to learn about?
And there are cartoons doing that,
and
not Bluey.
So this is why I say indoctrination. You can't just go ramming on the kids, the school and getting on that and all this stuff about that.
Wait. That's what Joe Biden and his friends like to do, ram kids.
Really? We go down the toilet hole? Do we have to? Is that really where this is going?
Well, I mean.
I'm trying to be classy here.
I'm trying
to
you're
classless.
No, I'm not.
But I'm trying to be
absolutely blunt and not care what anybody thinks when I say it.
When it comes down to it, this is where this is a fight problem, right? And why we have to be involved somehow, some shape, some form. What are you doing? How are you doing it? Here's why. The indoctrination's happening. That's maybe even too late to stop at this point.
No, I don't think it's too late to stop.
This is the bigger fight.
Because there's more of us, and if we'd actually fight, we could beat them.
I'm going to hurt you if you do not zip it.
Look, I can do it back to you, too. Go.
Is it okay to speak, master? Kids are actually ending up damaged. Okay? And I don't mean damaged mentally. I don't mean damaged physically, although sometimes that is a case, right? They're actually being fed something that is completely damaging societally to what we are actually going to have to deal with in the future, right? Think about it this way. This terrifies me. I've had this conversation with younger generation kids, 20-somethings.
Yep.
Okay. And I tell them, I'm like, you don't understand what I'm terrified about. I don't care that you learn something. I don't care that you learn this, learn that, learn whatever. Your education, you do math with like 20 grids and a charts and an abacus, and I have like my math on a piece of paper and done at like a quarter of the time.
We can do it in our brain.
It's not even about that. It has nothing to do with the ability to learn different or to learn different things even. I think that being more culturally aware is not a bad thing, okay? But here's where I have the problem. You're not intelligent.
Nope.
You're not even self-aware of your lack of intelligence, and you are a generation of children that have the most access to information known to mankind, and you can't find anything. Proof in point. I gave my sister a dictionary. She didn't know how to use it. That's terrifying. Now, I'm not picking on her because I showed her, and then she was like, oh, that's what you had to do? And I'm like, yeah. You know why? Because Google will lie to you.
Yep.
Because Wikipedia is not all facts. Because everything on the internet is not
Urban
true.
Dictionary?
That's true. But only to the urban language. So it's not technically wrong. They're telling you what it means.
Some funny stuff in there.
It's not great. It's bad in all cases, but it's not untrue. This is what that word means if you say it in an urban society. I'm just not going to go and say those words in an urban society. But that being said, this is what is bothersome to me, is that these are going to be the future leaders of this nation.
You know what scares me?
That's terrifying.
You know what?
Somehow.
To put that into perspective, this is the first presidential election with a large portion of Gen Z voting.
And they won't vote, which is comical because I think that the plan was to indoctrinate them to a point where they would vote and vote in the way that they have indoctrinated them to vote. But what they've come to realize is that, well, politicians are just slave owners or something, or they did wrong. Like they messed up in the scenario. They didn't carry the one or something, and they didn't realize that they damaged them so badly that they don't even trust themselves, let alone another human being that they come in contact with. They're isolated, they're alone, they're depressed, they're sad, they want really nothing. In the sense of they aspire for very little.
They aspire for very little, and they want it given to you.
Well, no, they don't even want it given to them. This is what has created the YouTube generation, right? This is what the streamer. This is like you. I literally cannot make this up. This is facts. People leave high school, go to college, and they want to be a successful YouTube streamer as their career. That's their job. And they think
this is a hobby. I just want to help people.
And they think they're going to make millions of dollars. Like say an Asmongold or like say Ninja or all these other Twitch streamers that I don't even know the names of, but I only know about those two because they're like really popular, I guess. But that
Asmongold we knew because of Final Fantasy.
But he's also very popular. But that's not even the point.
14.
But the point is that this is a career choice.
Yeah.
Not how to actually fix something that's broken, not how to be an actual involved member of society to contribute to something that's worth something more than just yourself. They don't know how to exist past themselves.
I'm gonna tell you something. Here's another thing that should scare you because of the way that they've been pushing and pushing and pushing. Because we heard it growing up. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna be able to get a good job unless you go to college. Over and over and over again. Oh, you're going to be worthless.
They made college programs that are like how to be a successful Twitch streamer.
But what I'm saying is they've been pushing college
degree.
Do you know what's going to happen? Do you know what's going to happen once everybody older than us and our generation retires? Good luck getting your heating fixed.
Well,
good luck getting a house built.
But that's not necessarily true either because there's a whole nother case for that point. We're not going to go into that one because that's going to really. Let's just say they probably won't show up speaking English. And I'll leave it there. That's it.
Don't even need to get. No. Yeah, I know. I got you.
Don't want to talk about the papers. Don't want to talk about the legals or not. I don't. Nope. Not going to assume. Just saying, they most likely will not speak your language. I didn't say even Spanish. Just saying. That being said, though, here's where this gets even creepier. Okay. These people are going to have to aspire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To do something that's beyond themselves.
Well, this is why they want their $18 an hour
I'm going
McDonald's.
to punch you in the mouth. You are just asking to be decked. I'm
Maybe
serious.
I am.
You are. You're ripe for a spanking.
A smack the bottom.
They don't know how to think past themselves, and yet they're going to be held to have to take a position to care for everyone. Can you imagine the next president of the United States, okay, with blue hair, okay, and their pronouns are they, them, and they don't know one thing, okay, about how to handle a conversation with another human being because they don't want to talk to people, and they have to make a presidential address.
Oh, wait. They don't know how to handle anxiety?
Hold on. They have to have a meeting with their chief of staff and their commander in chief and what's the secretary general of whatever, fill in the blank.
State,
okay,
Secretary
and
of
all
Defense.
these people. And this is going to be the cake. You need to go to Russia and negotiate peace talks with the war in Ukraine that's been going on since 2018 and is still going on in 2037 because we keep funding it. And it's the only reason it's going on. But you need to go over there, Mr. Blue Hair or Miss Blue Hair or them blue hair, whatever your pronoun is. I don't really care. But you got to go over there and you need to talk to how he's still probably alive at that point, Vladimir Putin, and tell him he needs to stop the war. You can't even hold a conversation with a streamer online for more than 2 seconds without going, they're tweeting about me. I don't like it. Where there is not going to be a United States.
So we're saying this.
That's my point.
This is the stuff that they're pushing that is okay in our schools. This is the stuff. This is the mindset that they're pushing.
And I'm not pro old people in the office anymore.
No.
Just want to point that out too. I'm not pro old people. I want some younger people, but I want young people that actually can hold a conversation.
Right? And can actually do things.
And they don't shrivel up into a ball because somebody called them something they didn't like.
Or have an anxiety attack and just fall to the ground crying because they got to go talk in front of millions and millions and millions of people.
But this comes from the school, and they're being this. It's okay. It's okay. Those feelings are real, and you are a unicorn.
No, they don't go for the unicorn. They go for the kitty cat, and they're giving them, litter box in the bathroom.
All of it. Can we just come to an agreement that it's all stupid?
Yeah.
It is.
See, this is what happens when people who are our age, okay, because they started saying this crap when we were in school. Everybody's started that everybody's special. Okay?
No.
Everybody's special. They started it.
But some of them were.
Anyway, they started the everybody's special thing. But the truth of the matter is that now they keep, you're special. Everybody's special. If everybody's special, then nobody is, number one. Sorry. Hate to say it. Timmy, because he wants to wear a dress, is not special. I'd say that his mom and dad need to be smacked, and they've raised I want to say the R word. I can't get banned.
Person.
Yeah, don't say that word.
No, actually, you know what? It is a medical term.
A slow person.
Ain't they slow?
Slow with it.
Somebody who is suffering from mental retardation. That is what you say. Somebody who is suffering with mental retardation. That is the technical term for
retarded.
it. Now somebody would say they are autistic. So they could be Elon Musk.
Actually,
technically, Elon Musk is retarded under that definition.
No. Being mentally retarded.
No, I'm serious though.
No,
Elon Musk is autistic. Elon Musk is autistic.
Yeah, he's autistic. He's on the spectrum.
He is autistic. He is on the spectrum. He's autistic. But listen, this is where I don't like using or getting into that word because again,
it's the truth though. We need too many R words.
Racism. I mean,
it's but they're coddling this stuff, and parents look for years we didn't know what was going on. I mean, really. Until COVID happened, and now you're watching it on the computer screen in your own house, and the teacher goes, parents can't be in their school districts making rules of parents can't be in the same room while kids in school. It's, everybody's allowed to have their privacy, and somebody else, seriously? Well, but parents started seeing it, and now you started seeing parents actually fight it, and then they said parents going to the Board of Education meetings are they're terrorists. They must be arrested and removed and censored and all these other things. And then they start showing up and the parents start reading actual books that they're now starting to put in the library.
Anything. Like, look, I appreciate every single person who went to those meetings and started those little but
it has done things in areas, but not enough people are doing it.
I would question that. But here's my point. My point is
Virginia flipped red because of the mothers that
but they're still teaching it
in certain areas.
Correct. So it's not fixing the problem.
It's more people need to rise up.
Go back to my original point. You can't fix. I'll use the old slavery problem. You can't fix the slavery problem by saying creating laws and doing all this stuff. You need to go after the people who are selling the slaves, right? You're not going to fix the education problem unless you go to the problem source, right? And the problem source is not at the teachers.
NEA.
It's not the teachers themselves. It's not this. Look, I know teachers. I know a bunch of teachers, and I know a bunch of teachers who are really good teachers, and I know a bunch of teachers who are, not great teachers. But guess what? All of them have one little thing in common. Do you know what they all have in common? They'd really like to just do their jobs. They went to school, they learned a trait, they learned how to do it well, and they can now teach somebody else how to do it. And by golly, that's what they want to do. They don't want to teach the other stuff. Now, there are a few, and I would call them
more than a few.
Let's just say there may be more than a few, but I think there are actually just a few. And I would call them bad actors because they're not really teachers. They're plants. They're people who are put in there by an administration who I'm not giving names to because I'm not even going to say it's this administration.
Oh, no, it's both sides.
It's been going on for a lot longer than that. But there are people who have been planted in this field to basically go ahead and create this agenda, so to speak, and make it seem as though, hey, you guys can do this too. You can teach on this subject or that subject or whatever, and nobody can do anything to you. And watch, I'll prove it. And once they showcased that there literally is a zero consequence philosophy in the education system that teachers could literally do, and I mean literally could probably do anything while your kids are present and face zero consequences, should terrify every parent who has their kid in public education.
This is me. I say nuke the whole system. And
I like this situation where I go, don't tell me what you can do to tear it down. Tell me what you can do to rebuild it. Honestly, if you're going to tear it down, you better darn well have a really good plan to rebuild it.
Ultimately, yes. First steps. Every parent should be going to the Board of Education meeting and fighting against this stuff. That's first step. Second step.
Go higher.
I'm saying that. Go high. Now you go to your townships and even your state to get people in position to now give you school choice.
Dare I say, make your voices patriotically and peacefully heard.
Yes, I dare you to say it. Say it again. Say it louder.
I mean, seriously though. Like,
no. You need to states. Certain states have already started doing it.
I'm done with the. I'm really seriously saying this as all things I can be. Please stop with the. I'm going to the board meeting. I'm going to wait for my turn. You're not going to get your turn. They know. They see you coming a mile away. And if they do give you the platform, they're going to talk over you. And if they talk over you, they're going to just talk louder over you. You're not going to get anything but maybe a news bit that's going to make like your local news for about 2 minutes. Everybody's going to forget about you tomorrow. You're not going to make a change. You're not going to make a difference. Unfortunately, I wish it was, but it's too late. Too little, too late.
It's too little, too late. It has made differences in areas. The problem is, yes, I'm
serious about this. You need to go bigger, and you need to go harder, and you need to go louder, and you need to go further
somewhere.
If you can only do that, because you're a hardworking, red bleeding, blue collar American that works for a living, great. I understand. That's all you can do is you can only afford to go there at a 7 p.m. because you got to do your 9 to 5. I understand. Then do that. But you know what? Support those who can't, who can go and fight for your values. But also at the same time, louder and much more noisy.
The only way to get louder, the only way to get noisier is to have more voices. The only way to get more voices is you need to connect with like-minded individuals. A lot of times you have to start in those board meetings. In other words, so that other people see it, they agree with you. You know what? You band together and you go higher.
No, this is what I'm saying. We got to take a page out of the Dems books. Seriously. We got to steal the pages because it's they're doing it, and the way they're doing it is completely like saboteur role, right? Let's go with what was her face? I can't remember her name for the life of me, but all I can remember what she said is she basically said, "You make a crowd and you go and you get in their faces and you tell them this such and that such and blah 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 blah." I know she's in California. That's all I know. She's terrible. Yeah, she's a horrible human being, right? But she was manipulating and doing this through lies and deception to create animosity and chaos and instill indoctrination of racism that didn't exist and foment all this stuff on premises of lies about a president who did everything according to the books and did everything upstanding and right, but you just don't like him because white man bad. Okay?
Here's the thing. I agree with you. Hold on. I agree with you to do that, but here's the problem with doing that. For decades, they have built and taking control of every bit of it. Yeah, she can get on the news and say that. Can you get on the news and say that?
No, I don't care about that.
No, but then how do you reach the people to say it? Because you have to start somewhere. You have to build a foundation. It doesn't always work, especially when they control the majority of it. Look, we only have X amount of viewers on here. There's other people that have been doing the same thing. They only have so much reach.
You're missing my point.
I'm not missing the point. You have to build a foundation. You have to build the group of people.
But the way you're doing it is wrong.
No. You have to start somewhere.
You have to start.
It has worked in other states. They started in the school board meetings in their states, and it's worked, and it has worked, and it started there. So if that's worked, we have to, and it's not happening in your area, you have to start that in your area.
So what about the people that have to go to another state then, because it's never going to work in their state? Abandon their ship, walk away?
If I could right now, I would.
Then it's part of the problem.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's 100% part of the problem.
If I could right now, I would.
100% part.
You know why I won't? I'll tell you. There are 3 reasons why I won't. 1, God hasn't told me to leave yet. Number 2, my kids are here.
Look, I'm not saying you can't go. And look, if I was in California, I'd have packed my bags a long time ago. I'd have left too. Look, there's certain states that are just sorry. There's no hope. There's no chance. It's not coming back. It's too far gone.
I agree.
I get that, but what I am saying is the fight problem cannot be to bail out, run to a state that will listen and hear me, so that way I can make sure I'm with people that hear my voice.
It's not that
all you're doing is you're making an echo chamber and an isolation unit, and you're not going to make the change.
That's not that.
Because then they'll just basically go, okay, well, you guys can have those 4 red states over there, and we're just going to take the rest of them out.
And that's not.
And you're never going to do anything.
Here's the thing, and I agree with this thing that people have been. There are people who are touting it, and it's already working. Not that you pick up and you leave a state like New Jersey, which is primarily blue, though we have recently been starting to change some areas.
It's not deep blue.
It's
blue.
It's blue.
It's always been.
But no, we are.
It's not always been, but it's been long enough.
Yeah, not always. It used to be a red, but anyway. Where like it's I'll just say New York.
That metric, the whole country's been red at one point in time.
Go New York, even go California. Extremely blue. They're deep blue. God, blue like midnight blue. Okay, moving
shade of blue.
Moving out of that state and moving to like a place that would be considered a 50-50 state, pretty much like PA. PA is it's close enough. Arizona. Where it's close.
Hold on.
Moving to those states
is red.
No, it's not.
PA is red with the exception of 2 cities. Literally, the whole
And
state is red except for 2 cities.
And they voted for better lines.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
It's not as close as you think. Yes, everybody outside of those 2 cities.
Unfortunately, those 2 cities,
and actually it's 3 cities. But I digress.
So 3 cities of the entire giant state of PA are unfortunately blue and make up a decision for the rest of the country.
And because
that shouldn't happen. I get that. Whatever.
So you need to move to because that would be considered a swing state. You move to a swing state and push it more red. That is where you should be moving. You shouldn't be moving to one that is so far red that it doesn't even matter. You're just part of the one of us. I do agree that if you can move and so-called chose to, go for it. Move to a swing state and help it to swing it the other way. Because the more of the country that is controlled, the more we affect everything else. Now,
I don't agree with you.
It's already working. People are already doing it.
I'm just saying I don't agree with it. I don't think it will work. I think you're seeing small gains on a temporary return that's not going to prove out to be long-term standing.
Look, I'm not done fighting. I'm not done fighting in the state. I'll fight until I can't no more.
I'm not saying. I'm arguing your point that though you are seeing small gain returns, I do not think it will be instrumental in making the drastic change that you're expecting it to make. That's all I'm saying.
Then my question to you is this:
if you keep throwing Florida in my face, I'm literally going to.
Nope, not going to throw Florida in your face. Jersey. I'm just going to use Jersey. Okay, Jersey is the way it is. It never is.
It's always flipping around.
Well, it's not always flipping around.
Yeah,
okay, no, it is not. The actual where everything is in Jersey right now. Yeah, they might change the governor to an R, but the rest of the Senate house, our state Senate and the other house of our government has been steady blue.
Some Republicans getting in there.
It's steady blue. Okay, nothing is changing. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's just okay to sit there in an area where you have nobody fighting with you to make a change. So you just sit there and take it? Okay. Because that's your thing. Don't move, sit there and take it. So I'm going to come with the counterbalance to your question. You're saying don't move, it's not that's not helping, so stay there and take it.
That's not what I said.
No, we just fight.
That's exactly what I said.
If out of 3 million, let's say whatever it is, out of 100 people, you're the only one fighting.
You only think you're alone because you are the only one in your echo chamber. You're the only one who's saying it, and you're the only one who thinks they're the only one saying it. My point is that, and this is the bigger point, the part that the Democrat Party is doing is not just they're getting on TV and they're saying things stupid like Walters was saying. Okay. That's one person that maybe not everybody will agree with, and they might not do it anyway. The point that they do, or what they actually do, the playbook part that I'm talking about taking, is how they assemble. They have figured it out. They have figured out how to actually put
because they start grassroots.
It isn't just grassroots, though.
But that's how it started with grassroots.
I'm not saying that it doesn't start in grassroots, and I'm not saying that isn't effective. I'm saying it doesn't have the long-term effects, and you're not going to get the changes you think unless you actually start building a actual army.
I understand that.
How do you do that?
But they started as just a grassroots, and they have taken it to where they are now. They have played the long game, and it's working. Okay, what Republicans and people in conservative and even Christians forget is playing the long game. We want the quick fix.
Not arguing with that point. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm literally saying the same thing. My point is...
Then you have to start with a foundation, which is grassroots.
But you can't just stay there.
I agree.
Okay, so my point is that...
But you're saying don't start there.
No, I'm saying that's not enough.
I agree with you.
That's all I'm saying. That's what my point the entire time.
You're saying don't start with the grassroots.
That's not what I said.
Don't go to the Board of Education meeting because it's worthless, and that's the starting point.
All you can do, that's fine.
But that's the starting point.
But I said if all that you can do is that's fine. But there's got to be more than just that. And if that's all you're doing, you are not going to get anything done.
I agree, but that's where the grassroots starts. You have to start.
Right. I am done with this conversation. Close it out. Please close it out.
I mean, it's honestly, it's like you want to fight more, even though there seems like there's no hope. Even though there seems like nothing can be done, but it has to start somewhere. And if you're just that one voice, I mean,
you are not one voice. Let me please just make that clear.
Yes.
There is not one person in this entire United States and every state that is blue going, man, I'm the only person in Michigan who's standing up against this governor.
Right.
That's a falsehood.
Right.
You want to know how I know that? Just watch the lockdown videos.
Yep.
You're not the only one. Oh, you're the only person in New Jersey. Okay, that's a lie. You want to know how I know? When they were trying to do all the stuff that they were doing with the trying to take away the ability for all these people who want to do their independent jobs and making them have to actually
stuff. Yeah,
that got shut down. That's a conservative movement. That's not that
wasn't just conservative. There's a lot of.
But that's my point. You have more in common with these people than you think. Stop thinking you're alone. You're not alone. What you need is to recognize the problem. And if you can't look at the school system right now and go, it's jacked, we need to fix it, and every single person who's there doesn't agree, if they don't agree, don't talk to them anymore. I don't care how long you've been friends. If they go, oh no, the education system is fine. If that's your opinion, I don't want to talk to you. I don't even want to know you as a human being. Get off my planet, because you are a part of the problem. But if you don't, then we can work together. And that doesn't take much to find those people and connect. You can find them. Can you find them at a school board meeting? You sure can. You can find them outside the school. You want to know who most of them are? Parents. You want to know why? Because they're picking up their kids and they're hearing the crap that they have to deal with in the car, and they're pissed off.
Yeah.
And you can go find out how pissed off they are. You don't have to go far. But what you need to do is go, hey, I'm going to go do something about it. You want to join me? It's going to be radical. We might go to jail, but it's going to be worth it, I promise you.
Yeah, it's better than just
Until you
going up
start
there.
saying those words, it's not threatening. They're not scared of you. But if you go, hey, I'm willing to go to jail for this, are you? They can't lock you all up. That's a fact.
That was the same argument I said down in
They
COVID.
can't lock you all up. So guess what? If you are a group of people en masse that are approaching every school in the state, they're going to have to fix it. They can't ignore it. I don't care if you're liberal news media, ABC, NBC, CS, C-SPAN, whatever. I don't care. You're going to report on it. Do you know why? Because you can't ignore it.
Yep.
You can't turn your TVs off and go, oh, it's not happening right now. Don't pay attention. No, it's happening. And it's going to change when people get off the rear ends and actually get off and do something about it. I'm not saying don't go to board meetings. That's fine. But they can't be all you do.
I agree with you.
You have to actually find the people who feel the same way as you do and go, you know what? I've had enough. I've actually had enough. When the people have had enough, guess what you get? You get change.
You get results.
You get results. And I'm not saying that, oh, hey, the people who went to the Capitol on January 6th were all great people and upstanding citizens. I'm not saying they're bad people either. I think there's a lot of bad actors.
There was bad actors. There was undercover FBI
I think it was a sting operation by the FBI. I'm not going to sit here and deny that at all. But what I'm going to tell you is the motivation of every single person who was there, who was an honest, hardworking American who actually believed that the election was stolen, because there's no way in the world the oatmeal for brains in office was the most popular president in history.
Even over Obama.
In history.
Even over Obama.
It wasn't there.
You were more popular than Obama.
I'm sorry. And you want to know how I know? Because you can even ask Democrats and they'll tell you, no, that's not, I voted for Trump because honestly, we were doing really good with Trump. I mean, I wouldn't vote Republican all the time, but I'd vote for Trump.
I knew people who were that way.
Because he actually did things that made sense for us.
I know people now who did vote for Biden who are like, yeah, I'll never vote Democrat again.
But again, the point remains. You can't tell me he's the most popular president in one thing, and then you have a bunch of people show up at the Capitol building telling you, we don't believe you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That isn't just happenstance. That's because people were fed up.
And honestly,
That's
this is where everybody who came out saying that they were going to sue for it, they failed anyway because they were trying to sue from the wrong thing. Chain of custody. Chain of custody was the best way to go after it, and they never once went after chain of custody.
And I really don't care about that. That's not the point of tonight's conversation, right? But the point does remain in the same vein, right? Here's the point. You are dealing with a war in your schools. You're dealing with
it's a spiritual war all over
your
this
kids.
country.
There's lies. There's indoctrination. There's all sorts of evil and wickedness that is spewing forth from the mouth of that school. and you're just sitting there and doing nothing about it, I don't know what needs to happen for you to be outraged. Look, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I'll go fight.
No, you have a dog in the fight.
I do. I have a bunch of nieces and nephews and godchildren.
I'm about to say you have.
I have a lot of people.
Kids.
I have a lot of kids I care about. I have a lot of kids I care about, but they're not mine. But you know what? The people who do have kids and they are yours, you should care more than me.
Yep.
And if you don't, that's the problem.
We also need people
Plain
who
and simple.
don't have kids.
Oh, so you mean just changing your Facebook status isn't going to do anything?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't make your Facebook image black. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Don't put your blue and yellow flag up either.
What
I don't
about
care.
you? Blue and yellow.
Please stop.
Ukraine.
Stop. Just stop. Your social. What is that called?
Social justice.
No. Signaling.
Social credit
Something
score?
signaling. Virtue signaling. That's it. Yeah. Stop virtue signaling.
And gaslighting.
No.
The main point of this is to go out there and do something.
My point is that it can't. I'm not saying that the baseline and the, like you were saying, like the grassroots part. Yeah, it's been going on, but it's been going on, right? It's happened. It's been happening. It's happened in other states. I'm not saying don't continue it, but you guys group think mentally. You got to get yourselves out of this. Oh, well, you know what? No, it doesn't matter, right? It has to do with something much bigger than us. It has to do something that's way more long lasting. And if we don't go and fight for it, it's going to fall and it's going to be the end of it. They know that the education system is the way to literally completely ruin everything this country stands for.
You want to actually know quickest way to change all this stuff? Just about any state, doesn't matter what their political color is. The church would rise up. You see churches on every street corner in every town, in every district, around here in Jersey, we got churches that ain't even on street corners. They're on back roads that never know the church existed ever. All these churches are around, but we ain't got Christians standing up for the kids. We ain't got Christians standing up against, people who say that they're Christians.
Well, they're standing up, but they're standing up for the kids that are in their church.
They're not even doing that. That's the world. They do what they do, and we're Christians. We do what our. No, see, here's the thing. I recently listened to a book written by Tony Evans. I don't agree with some of his standpoint on some things. Where is the kingdom? Type of thing. But I will say one thing, and I kind of disagreed even with him saying this one statement. He's saying that there should be a separation between church and state. But his next statement is what changed it, because that's where I knew he was thinking of it along different lines. He said, but there should never be a separation between God and state.
That's why we are the corner of church and state.
There
is no separation.
There shouldn't be a separation between God and state. Now, whose job is it to make sure that the state is lining up with God because he's the one that instituted government to begin with? That is the church's job, baby.
And if we talked about that.
And so, again, we should be the church should be manning up. Seriously, cowboy up and do your job. Don't sit in your church and go, oh, that's the world. No, we're supposed to be affecting the world. We're supposed to be affecting everything that is within our boundaries and near our areas. You can't sit there and call yourself a Christian if you're not going to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. Those kids in those walls can't fight for themselves. Parents who can't afford to take them out and put them in other places can't fight for themselves. They need the help of everybody, and they need the help of Christians to finally be actual Christians.
Well, but in the simplest of senses, it's really easy.
Are you drawing on my face with the arrow?
Really, really easy is this. If you're in the church and you call yourself a believer, you should be united with them to help fight.
Yep.
Because you're all fighting for the same reason. At the end of the day, you're all fighting on the same side. You're all fighting for the same reason.
And I want to read this scripture, and then we're gonna get ready to go. This is
Take us home.
This is Mark. This is Mark 10.
Take us home.
Chapter.
That's a good old
16.
pastor reference, by the way. When the church starts telling you to take you home, they want you to wrap it up.
Yep. Mark 10, verse 16. Behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Beware of men, for they will deliver you over to courts and flog you in their synagogues. And you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake, to bear witness before them and the Gentiles. When they deliver you over, do not be anxious how you are to speak and what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you in that hour. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will deliver brother over to death, and father his child, and children will rise against parents and have them put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. It's happening now.
It's persecution.
Brother is going against brother to have them put to death, whether it's death by social means or actual physical means, or your way to make a living. Children are rising up against their parents because the schools are teaching them a bunch of bogus crap. And look, I have to deal with it. I got one child that I've been arguing against, and I'm holding the line. I will not call God a liar in any instance. I don't care who you are. It's going to happen, so we need to fight it. We have to fight against it. It's going to happen. Jesus said it's going to happen. All these he didn't say life was going to be easy. He said all these things they're doing to me, yeah, they're going to do it to you too, and probably worse. It's going to happen to you too. But at the same time, I did all these things, but you're going to do even more.
And just to be clear, I mean, it's the scripture's clearly talking about the persecution of the church and the people in the church. But,
and this is a persecution of the people.
Well, but when you originally pulled it, I contextually you're off, but I get it. I understand your point. But the reality of it is what's creating the persecution? Why are they persecuting them? It's because they're being taught that that's okay. They're being taught something other than God's word. They're being taught something against God's values and God's morals and judgments. And the more they get taught this, the more it is you're going to see.
Yep.
It's just that simple.
So, guys, we're gonna call this time at the corner of Church and State to an end. We thank you for joining us on the stoop and enjoying the conversation. Hope to hear from you. As always, follow the link tree in bio to get all my information. If you want to talk to me on different forms,
subscribe.
That too as well. Like and subscribe. 5-star reviews on the audio files would be fantastic as well. But if you where you can catch me on social media, that's on the link tree. Our church, our website, or not website, our email address where you can contact us with any questions, prayer requests, that and the like.
Church info's there as well.
Where you can contact this man through Streams of Life Fellowship, through the website. And if you happen to be in the state of New Jersey, in southern New Jersey, 10 o'clock on a Sunday, you get on that website, you find out our address, you come on down and you worship with us.
Between Atlantic City and Philadelphia.
It's somewhere between there.
Like literally right between.
almost
if you draw a line literally between Philly and Atlantic City, you'll find us.
We're going to cross through it. So come down and worship with us. We hope to see you in 2 weeks where we will be talking about the Sound of Freedom movie. Yes, it's been several months, but we did that on purpose so to give everybody a chance to watch it. And we're going to talk about it. I'm still hoping this man sees it. But he's been a busy man, so not always.
Child snafficking.
Oh no, we're just going to say child sex trafficking is what it's really about.
I mean, we already said the R word like 6 times.
And we're far enough now they ain't reading or they ain't watching. So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks, which will be on the 26th. So we hope to see you there on the same bat channel, same bat time, and hope you have a good one. So y'all, good night and peace.
God bless.
Help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or labor rules, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, if freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas, so America.